everybody, Harvey Helms here with part 3 in my Beauty for Thought lecture series. Tonight we're going to be talking about the future of makeup. And also I just want to give a big shout out to KMVT15. Bobby Chastain, you and your team are fabulous, and thank you for letting me come back. If you didn't see part 1 and part 2, you can go on KMVT15.org and see my talks, or you can also check out HarveyHelmsBeauty.com. Part 1 was about lipstick versus gender equality, or the 6 reasons women wear lipstick. Part 2 was about ageism in Hollywood. It was fabulous. You have to check it out. Or the reason that your wrinkle cream doesn't really work. But tonight I've assembled such a powerful group of the most fabulous women that I know, and I'd like to introduce you to them now. So first off, we have Lauren Spieth. I love you, Lauren. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Harvey. It's great to be here.
Thank you. So Lauren she calls herself a filmmaker, and she does that, but you do a million other things. She's one of the most spiritual, wonderful, glorious women that I know. She is president of Elfenwork Productions, which is so fantastic. So thank you for coming tonight, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thanks. Then we have Allison Kluger. She does a million things, and we've known each other for a long time. So she's a TV producer and a writer, but she's also a lecturer in the GSB at Stanford with reputation management. And we just did a stint with Tyra Banks in the spring, which is super fun.
We did, on personal branding.
I love it. So thanks for being here tonight.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Another fabulous woman I know, Stacey Pennant. So she is the founder of Rainmaker Communications, which we'll get into that in a little bit. You look gorgeous. Your highlights look like they were painted by God.
Thank you,
You're
Harvey.
fabulous.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for being here tonight. And then my friend from the other side of the world, Sharon Fautre. You're so fabulous.
Oh, thanks,
She
Harvey.
is a national makeup celebrity. To me, she is, and I just love her. She's somebody, she really understands makeup, and I just love being with her. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yes, 2 peas in a pod.
And then we have Teresa Fauci, yes? Tauchi, yes. And she is the director of product development and marketing for Coco Inc. Yes. And Teresa and I have kind of a very special relationship that we're going to talk a little bit later, because Teresa really understands beauty and technology. So thank you so much for being here
for having
tonight.
me.
So girls, tonight we're going to talk about makeup. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen this before, I put my name on a box. So I have a startup beauty brand called Harvey Helms Beauty here in the Silicon Valley. And my beauty philosophy isn't unique, however, it's mine. And because like women that I meet and women that I know, they wanted makeup that was free of poisons. They wanted makeup that looks natural, that's easy to apply. And when I decided to put my name on the box, I wanted to give women something that when they looked in the mirror, they would see their face, only a little bit better version of it. The other thing about Harvey Helms Beauty that's really important to me is my tagline is it's for all women everywhere. And what I mean by that is diversity of shade, but also that women who are looking to really put their best face out into the world. I mean, many of you probably have seen some of the makeup tutorials on YouTube, etc. And I always wonder, girls, like, they're putting on so much makeup. I'm like, is everybody becoming a drag queen in the United States? I mean, really? I'm like, really? When the highlighting and contour thing happened, and when you see that in person, Sharon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're like, honey, that's a stripe of mud walking down the street. And I didn't want to do that. So let me just put it out to you girls tonight. What do you think about makeup? Give me the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the fabulous. Lauren, what do you think about makeup?
Wow. You know, Harvey, I have a mixed relationship with makeup, because when I have you to help me with my makeup, or I have somebody like Sharon or some fabulous artist on a film set, I'm fine. But if I'm by myself, not so much. So
you get a little bit lost with it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. What about you, honey?
I have to have some basics. And I'm not a big makeup person where I have to go to stores and get the new thing. I like to stick with something that makes me feel natural and that doesn't make me look greasy, and that's easy to use. So I'm very low maintenance. But I also believe that I can't go out with just a bare face because I feel a little bit exposed. So just a little bit of base, some eyeliner, mascara, and a little lip gloss.
So just that little bit
That's
of an
a little bit, but
enhancement.
when I'm with you, you always encourage me to try new things and also have different looks for morning or work or for night.
Right.
And I really love myself when I see myself that way.
Yay, awesome.
And I have to say, I used the same brand of makeup for 20 years until you came along, and I changed to use your brand, and it's my favorite.
That's a big compliment.
And it's the truth.
That's a big compliment. What about you, Stace?
I think it's fun. I didn't wear makeup till my 20s, and then like it's just creative play. So I enjoy mixing and matching and getting samples and playing with it. Just fun.
That's good. So far, one's a little bit lost
I'm
in
the only
things. No, you're not the only one. You're not. No, I understand that. So I'm calibrating here. Now, Sharon, honey,
Well,
how long have you been in the business? Do you, you don't have to say it on TV.
tell?
No,
I'm
you don't,
only
you don't,
28,
you don't,
so
you don't.
now I've been in the business about 38 years, and I was a nurse who didn't wear makeup, and so I really saw the difference when I started using makeup and then learning the skill. And as Lauren said, you need to be skilled. If you don't know what you're doing, you can see the bad and the not so beautiful, right, Harvey?
Yes, I see that.
But I love makeup, and I love showing women how to use makeup properly.
You know, and what I love about your work is when I see a makeup artist that really understands skin. Because there's nothing
Yes.
better to me than just like radiant, beautiful
Oh my
skin.
gosh, yes.
Good.
Beautiful skin is the beginning of it all.
Teresa, what about you? Because you are such a natural beauty, but you are also really involved in the data around building the future of beauty, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have you here tonight. You know, about what women are saying about that it's hard with makeup or trying to buy makeup, etc.
Absolutely. So at Coco, we have talked to hundreds and hundreds of women. And the thing that we hear over and over and over again is, I don't know what shade to wear. If I can't test it, if I go to a drugstore, there are no testers. If I go to the department store, it's a little intimidating. And if I go to a beauty retailer, it's really intimidating because there's lots of black lacquer, there's music that's thumping, the girls are wearing the stripes on their face, and you don't necessarily want to look like them. So where do you go? What do you do? And so we at Coco have developed an app that makes it easy for women to find the perfect shade of foundation, including Harvey Helms Beauty.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that in a little bit. I'm super excited about it. One of the things that I found with thousands of women over the years is that most women, when they look in fashion magazines or if they're watching television, like we all sort of want to fit in a little bit. I mean, I think we would all say that. I think we all have, in some sort of fashion, put our image together in a way, which could be ultra natural, which for some of the girls that I help, it's mascara and it's lip gloss and an SPF during the day to protect the skin. And then I have other clients that love foundation and do, you know, want the whole, what I call in the South, I'm Southern as you'll hear in my voice, the whole hog. So she puts on the whole hog. But but the thing for me, being a man, and I'll just say this because I say it at every lecture series where I'm up talking about women, I'm not a woman and I don't pretend to say that because I am privy to things that I totally understand what that means. I don't. But I do get to be an observer of women, and after this many years, I watch all the situations and I get to see what women go through. So for me tonight, it's really about putting out there, sort of starting a conversation, like we did with lipstick and gender equality, like we did with ageism. Like in this, we're in the 21st century, and I really feel like it's time for a beauty revolution. I believe it's time for a beauty revolution. My upcoming beauty book is called The Beauty Dilemma. Because if I look back at the 19th century when cosmetics first started, and Lauren and I had the most fabulous time in New York. She
great.
treated me to war paint. Was that
That
fabulous?
was so great.
It was so great. But Lauren's like an angel to me. So we're sitting there on Broadway, and I'm like, Lauren, God planned that you would have me sit here in this theater about Elizabeth Arden and Helena Rubinstein, that these women and what they went through. So it was such an amazing moment.
But Harvey, it's like going to Hamilton with somebody who knows rap music, and you know, you knew what was going on.
Right.
I was sort of, I don't know.
It was so fun. It was actually one of the best
It
moments
was
of my
great.
life.
It was
really
great.
great. So I wanted to think about this century as we get into the 20th century, and many of you still live with attitudes from your mother and your grandmother, and that's not a bad thing. However, I think with everything that's going on in the world today, that in wanting to empower women to be the best they can be, we kind of have to look away from some things that we know from the 20th century. And that's why I think we need a beauty revolution. And I agree with Teresa. Here it is for me, and I'm just going to stick it out there for you girls. buying makeup is difficult.
Yes.
It
Yes,
is.
It
Yes.
is. Yes.
Sharon, I mean, you work in a department store, so you're always
Yeah.
with women. You're on the cutting
I
edge
hear
of
it all the
fashion and
time.
beauty every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, it's overwhelming for them. And they don't always trust you. You've got to gain their trust by not pushing too much on them and just showing them products that work for them. Because God knows there are enough people out there who sell products that aren't right for women, and that can shut the woman down to never want to try again. You know, just go back to the basic mascara, gloss, and
Right. Or you know, if you walk into any big box store today, if you walk into a big box store today, you're going to see 1,000 moisturizers. You're going to
my
see
God.
thousands of lipsticks,
Crazy.
and you're just like, well, what is this? What is it right for me? Do you know what I mean? So it is very difficult. The other thing is, for me, is that, especially with women, that, you know what, how much time do you have in the morning, and do you need 45 steps? What is this about? Do y'all buy into this? I mean, you can't. I mean, because you don't have, all of you are living, I mean, so Lauren, let me just ask you this, because you're sort of my red carpet filmmaker. Like, you have people like Sharon and I help you in crafting your look, which is fabulous, you know, when you're on the red carpet and you're doing film. But then I also know there's a softer side to Lauren in your real, what I call the real world, not red carpet. So is that a different woman? Like, what does that look like?
Well, I always wanted to be the authentic me, but sometimes the lights are harsh. And when I'm working with cameras, now these are HD cameras, these are unfriendly. And so when I have somebody in front of that camera, or if it's me, I'm doing the documentary and I'm the one who's narrating, I don't want to be one step back. And so makeup kind of makes up the difference. But I'm leaning on people like you, I'm leaning on people like Sharon. When I wake up in the morning, you guys aren't there, it's just me. So that's...
Tell me about that. What is that moment like?
That moment, well, then I really don't have very much. That's why I just go for like the color that you have, this simple color, a little bit of your lipstick because it tastes so good.
Yeah.
And, you know, just a line. I mean, honestly, I don't do very much. I tried harder when I was in my 20s, but honestly, after going into the big box stores and getting the makeover and feeling like it looked great, and then coming home with bunches of things and then not being able to implement that myself, a few of those times of unsatisfactory, and I started to feel kind of bad, and it was a lot of money, I just kind of gave up. And so I leave it to the professionals. I think makeup can be transformative. It helps me so much better, but I'm not good at it.
Right.
First person to say I'm not good at it.
I love that. So for me, there's a science to beauty. You know, it's not as subjective. I mean, I know all of you, like when you go shopping with your best girlfriend, how does this look? You know, where you're going to get an opinion, correct? Mm-hmm. So you will get that kind of an opinion. So, but it is difficult because the other thing that I see is that cosmetics is a business. You know, my business partner and I have two business partners, one who's in operations, the other one drives media for me. And we talk about the difference between beauty and the intrinsic value of what I want to bring to women, and also that I'm running a business. So, and trying to walk that line. And so I always have questions in this area. Do you know what I mean? Because I started off behind the counter. If you don't know, I have a book called Blush, The Unbelievably Absurd Diary of a Gay Beauty Junkie.
It's so great.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
And I was one of the very first, yay! Male beauty advisors to sell behind a cosmetic counter in Charlotte, North Carolina, a million years ago. And so we were trained to sell a lot of products, right?
Yeah, and the pressure's out there for the groups to make numbers for sure. You know, someone who's sensible about it doesn't try to push things on to customers, but unfortunately, the job makes it that you're sometimes forced to.
Right.
So
it's crazy. Allison, talk to me. So you teach reputation management. I just love the thought of that.
Thank you.
So you help people craft their image.
I do, and I teach strategic communication and executive presence for women, and also personal branding. So a lot of what we cover is how you present yourself to the world. And I have this question a lot in my class, especially in the executive presence for women, is, do I need to wear makeup to be a powerful woman? And I have to be very careful because there's some people who are just, either they're very anti-makeup or they don't want to be told what to do. So what I always say is no one has to wear makeup. However, you have to look at yourself that if you are presenting yourself in any sort of meeting or any sort of high stakes event or just going out for an evening with friends, You want to be the best person that you can be. And how you look and how you put yourself out there can be perceived a certain way. That people will ascribe certain qualities to you if you don't take charge of your own image. So if you don't put any effort into your appearance, people can look at you and say, that person just seems really tired or strung out or lazy or sloppy or doesn't care. And it could be the furthest from the truth, but that could be what the first initial appearance is that you're giving somebody. If you end up putting a little bit of makeup or some effort in how you appear, people will think, oh, that person has confidence, that person thinks well of herself, and that person wants to work really hard or do a great job for me. So I believe that makeup is very important. But I think it's also, like you said, in a more spiritual way. It's about empowerment. And I don't tell people how much makeup to wear, but I say, do something that makes you feel comfortable and authentic. And have someone who, if you don't know enough, have someone tell you what can work on you.
Yes. You know, I was one of the only male contributors at Betty Confidential for about 3 years. That's how Allison and I met each other. And I covered Sundance with Jennifer Siebel Newsom's documentary on the objectification of women in the media called Miss Representation. Great. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Wonderful. At the end when the lights came up, and Jennifer is an actress. She's from LA. She's beautiful. You know, she's blonde and her makeup looked great. Lots of lip gloss. She looked fabulous. And this man, one person, she said, are there any questions? And a man stood up and said, how can you stand up there and say all this looking the way you do? And I said to them, not only did the oxygen leave the room, all the estrogen left the room too, because it was so shocking that somebody would say that. But back to your point about perception, it's crazy about putting the right thing. Like, how much makeup is too much? How much is just right? I mean, it's a great question. That's something I want to talk about in the Century too. So.
Yeah.
Stacey, what about you? You are a high-powered tech consultant and you do these things. You've got this busy life. Like, tell me about makeup and your average day.
So my clients are usually technology companies that are very current, relevant, hip, people, you know, of all ages. And I think of clothing and being pulled together as a uniform that I wear to work. And you help me with that?
Yes.
And I think about makeup as kind of part of that armor. And I think it's important to be very pulled together and, just like you're saying, to look like you've put effort into it. And I don't think it has to be a lot of makeup, but when I see women, especially sometimes young women, no makeup, sloppy dress, and sloppy hair, it sends a message like they don't care. I think if a woman has a very pulled together look and no makeup on, she can look fabulous. Although I do see older women, you know, we lose our color naturally as we age, especially like in our lips. And I see women at work where I think, gosh, if she would just wear a little lipstick. But I think it's important in the workplace to be conscious of the image that you're projecting and put some effort into it. And it gives me confidence to feel that too.
That's so, you know, I just see with a lot of women that we have such deep ingrained women, or so many attitudes about makeup. And it's from stuff that we've learned from other people. Yes? Because my grandmother used to tell my mother, you need to go put some blush on. Do you know what I mean? So you've all heard that. Or don't wear white. And we live in California, I wear white all year now. Do you know what I mean? So people will still, back east, will say that to me. So I always wonder about those attitudes about makeup, because we also do that to each other, and women do that to each other, yes? So that's something that's another conversation I'd love to open up in this century around what women do with each other. Like, how much makeup is too much? Millennials are different. Sharon, we were talking about millennials a little bit.
It's changing, isn't it?
It is, it's changing, and they're about experience. They're not about things. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, and they like to change it up as well. They don't want to be captured in a box and do the same thing over and over again. And that's why they want personalization in all their choices.
Right.
But back to what you said, some studies that I did about men and women and how they perceive each other at work, men actually don't look at women's makeup and how they're dressed. They look at whether a woman is groomed or not, and whether they seem professional or frazzled or tired or messy.
Really?
Yeah, and so, but they do notice if women are over made up to the point that it's uncomfortable. So you asked the question, you know, how much is too much makeup? And a rule that we have in television, which probably a few of us know, is that if something you're wearing or how you're made up or accessories If someone's staring at it for more than 10 seconds, then you're doing something wrong because it's distracting from your message. And I think makeup is the same way. It should be something that is framing you and bringing out your natural beauty, but not distracting someone to the point where they're really looking at you and wondering what's going on.
Well, you know, when I worked behind the counter, Tammy Faye Baker was one of my customers. Speaking of a lot of makeup. But you know what, for certain women though, see, I have this rule of thumb, like my makeup is very natural looking on the face, but sometimes women can carry off that look. You know, it's part of who they are. And I love that. If a woman likes and can carry that off, because it takes a lot to carry that off, it also takes application skills.
That's true.
Right? Teresa, what do you think?
I think this is a really, really interesting conversation. I think that women of our age were butting up against the younger generation, the selfie generation, where they're selfie ready. And so there's pressure that percolates up as well in terms of too much makeup versus a very natural look. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I went to Sephora with her 3 times in one weekend. We were in New York because that was entertainment for her. I mean, that was how she wanted to play in a big city.
Right.
And so it was very fascinating to me just to kind of follow her around and watch what she was picking up and, oh, I heard about this, oh, I heard about that.
Is it like a candy store?
It's like a candy store, except that she had heard about everything on YouTube.
You know, can I admit this? It's like I'm like a kid in a candy store too. I like that. I'm a junkie, that beauty junkie that way too.
I'm like a deer in the headlights.
You are.
But
Right,
same, I
yes.
have a 19-year-old daughter, and it's YouTube that got her into makeup, watching all the makeup tutorials on YouTube.
It's great those exist, though. I wish those had existed when I was starting my career. Because I would just come home and have spent all this money and just, you know.
So tutorials are important. Yes?
Yes.
Would
Yes.
you watch them to learn? I mean, honestly, tell me the truth. Do you watch them because of the entertainment value? Because some of them are really entertaining. And some of the makeup that
Some
these
of them are very irritating.
and some of them are like, really? Do you know what I mean? So do you really watch them to learn, or is it both? Like, what is it?
I do watch them. I watch them quite a lot. Like I like to just settle down and get into.
Do you like
You don't
get
have to
that?
watch
like
it.
instead of
wanna
watching
see.
a movie, I might watch something on makeup application and just see if I can learn even more or learn what not to do. You know, I just find it fascinating. But I can see how for someone who's not in the business, I mean, it's even just the touch. It's how you apply something that you don't see in the videos. There's so much more to it than just someone quickly giving you these little shots of place this here, here, here. They
Right.
need someone like you, Harvey, or me, if
You.
you're not around,
So
to show them.
with Teresa and Coco, one of the things that I want to be a part of, and really on behalf of women. So it is my business, and I've done this a long time, and I really feel for you, Lauren, because I have lots of women who are like, I have the slice idea of how to go about this, but I want it, right?
Right.
I want it, but I want it to be easier.
Well, everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants their best foot forward, I think.
So what,
If it's easy.
yeah, or easy, or the right amount of product or whatever. So for me, with Harvey Helms Beauty, what we're trying to do is give you ways to look natural, see your face in the mirror. Because when I watch these tutorials, really everybody needs that full coverage. No, but on television. So when you're watching this stuff on YouTube, you can see, you know, full coverage does make a difference. On TV. In real life, it's a different story.
Correct.
You know? But Teresa, will you show the app? So we're building something. Coco's going to power this. I love Coco. My friends at Coco are so fabulous. And one of the things that women have the hardest time is really matching shade. So there's a color sense technology that Coco has
right.
come up with.
That's right.
And we're working on an app called Harvey in Your Handbag with Coco. So I'm super excited about that. So it'll make shopping for you guys easier. So when I hit television with my brand, and also on the internet, because we all, you know, we get in bed at nighttime with our favorite liquid and we're just like, oh, what can I buy? So if a foundation comes up and there's 45 shades.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about the colors.
So we have a technology, and what you do is you have to have a color chart, which is the anchor to the real world. We know what the colors are in this chart. It's specially printed, and you take a selfie. I'm just going to pretend. And what this chart enables us to do is to color calibrate the image. And so we know it doesn't matter if you're in fluorescent light, incandescent light, outdoor light, We color correct the image and we match you to the perfect shade of foundation across multiple brands. That's what our app does. So if your budget is low, you can get a drugstore brand. If it's high, or if you love Harvey, then you can get Harvey Helms Beauty, right?
That's
so,
right.
yeah. And so what we want to do is make beauty accessible. You can do this in the privacy of your own home. You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to sit in front of a lot of people walking by and be touched. I mean, you could do this in your own bathroom, in your pajamas, with no makeup on at night. And then you go on vacation, your color shifts because you went to Hawaii, and then you do it again.
Right.
And then you know exactly what color you are. And we just want to make it easy.
Trust and authority, because for me, so imagine you out in TV land tonight, so you've got drawers full of makeup, because I know you all do. I call it the cosmetic graveyard. Colors that don't work. You bought them in different lighting and they didn't work for you. So at Harvey Helms Beauty, and also powered by Coco, we want to have the trust that we're getting you in the right shades so that you can feel confident, because there's nothing worse than that line of makeup or a lipstick shade that's not right with your skin tone. So I'm so grateful to Coco.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm so grateful to all of you. So thank you for coming tonight.
Oh,
Any
Thank
last
you,
words?
Harvey.
we love makeup.
love
Yay!
And we love you.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, listen, thanks for tuning in tonight. And also look for our part 4. So I think Sharon and I are going to be back in the future. And we're going to do some makeup tutorials with natural looking makeups. Thank you. Thank you, KMVT. Thank you so much. Thank you, girls. Yay.